It might be a 3-horse race for the 2024 Constructors Championship, but someone could say the prancing horse is heading in the wrong direction. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Racing. And I tell you what, if the prancing horse is running in the opposite way, I think there's only one bull on 4 legs, because Perez is not offering much to Red Bull's Constructors Championship, but I think we can see there's one team on the up, and the other two are falling away. And not necessarily Ferrari's pace, more so maybe their luck, maybe they're not maximising their car out, maybe they're not maximising the amount of points they should be getting. But I think we've seen over the last couple of races that McLaren are taking their opportunities. McLaren have 2 drivers capable of winning races, and you look at the last 7 races, more than half of them have been won by McLaren drivers, and it is 2-2. 2 for Piastri, 2 for Norris. So for me, McLaren, at the moment, they have the lead in the Constructors' Championship, and I think they're big favourites, and this poll would suggest that.
There is no animal analogy for McLaren. You've got bulls, you've got horses for the other two. I mean, there's nothing, but I think for Ferrari...
Is that why they're winning? Because they've got a car and the other two are racing animals?
Aye, they've just got a generic wee logo there. It's like a...
It's working, though, isn't it?
It's like a spaceship or something.
Well, it's got rockets or something
Aye,
attached to
it's
the
a
back.
rocket ship, but I think Ferrari's chances were out the window when...
I'm like a rocket ship running out of control. Not Queen.
That was alright,
Don't stop me now.
I think Ferrari's chances went out the window when Sergio Perez...
I took it Sainz.
Aye.
Or when Sainz took it Perez.
Whichever way you want to say. And also the fact that in Singapore they had an absolute stinker. They qualified like 9th and 10th. It was horrendous. As for Red Bull, well, I think their chances went out the window when Sergio Perez remained in the seat this year. So,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it.
And then you look at Perez, the only good race he's had, and he crashed it. Like, Perez could have finished, I think second was on for Perez in that race.
Yeah.
But I also think there was a double podium on for Ferrari. So, it's just unfortunate, but, McLaren's, their eyes were lighting up when they seen both Sainz and Perez collect each other. 56%, though, you've got to agree that McLaren are looking good.
Oh, if McLaren don't win this, man, it would be the biggest bottle job ever. I just don't see how they don't win it.
Well, only 9 of you guys voted and none of you left comments, so y'all absolutely suck.
But no, it's crucial, though, when you think of it, right? Everyone in their granny is expecting Norris to close the gap to Verstappen, right? So therefore, that means for Red Bull to win, Perez has to close the gap automatically to Piastri.
Or Max just goes on to dominate and win the title easy.
But he's not going to, because the car's not that good.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, despite Ferrari being behind, I would probably say Ferrari's got more chance than Red Bull.
Yeah, because it would... Yeah.
And the poll does suggest that. But let's look at the Constructors. So at the moment, McLaren lead by 516 points. Red Bull, 475. Ferrari, 441. But even if you just look at the last 4 races, if you look at it from...
Well, you'll need to scroll over because there's a lot of races.
That's actually true. But, I mean, even if you look at, let's say, even if we go back to Great Britain, like, you just feel like McLaren have probably scored more points than the other two in all of those race weekends. In Great Britain, they scored more than Ferrari and Red Bull. Hungary, they got a 1-2, obviously scored more. Belgium scored more. Holland, they scored more. Italy, they scored more. Azerbaijan, they scored more. And Singapore, they scored more. I think before... See, at Austria, was it not looking more like Ferrari were the team that were going to challenge?
No, it did, yeah.
But ever since Austria onwards, so Great Britain onwards, McLaren... The only team that has outscored McLaren is Mercedes. I think they're the only team that has outscored...
See, after Monaco, right, it looked like Ferrari were the team. Then they followed up with having like 4 of the shittest races that you'll ever see. Now, Carlos Sainz got a 5th, a 3rd and a 5th, but when you want a challenge for the Constructors, that's at the window. Charles Leclerc retired in Canada, got 6th, then he finished 11th in Austria and 14th in Great Britain. And that's pretty much derailed this season. Because Leclerc was beginning to build some serious momentum recently, but then, see, before Singapore happened, we were talking about a three-way title fight if Leclerc could keep winning. But at the windy.
Yeah, because, I mean, look at Leclerc. I mean, he was on the podium 4 races in a row, third, first and second. Obviously, he's took a bit. And also, I said this regarding the championship race. As good as Norris has been, and even though he has finished ahead of Max in most races, I think the most important thing is, see the 2 races that Lando Norris has won, Max has been finishing second in both of them.
Absolutely.
And that's massive.
No, it is.
Because that's when you take the most points at your rival, because obviously you're getting 25 points. And see how much closer this title would be if instead of Max finishing second in those races, he finished 4th or 5th. And I think that's what Norris will need. Norris won't win this title if Max finishes second every time. Norris needs to win, and he needs his teammate Piastri, right, to be there with him. He needs the Ferraris to be there with him. Perez isn't going to finish in front of Max, but he needs the Ferraris to be beating Max, and he probably needs Mercedes to help him as well. But another thing that I noticed, it doesn't really affect the constructors, but we'll just talk about it right now. You look at the championship, McLaren have now told Piastri to help Norris in this championship battle, but I'm looking at Hungary, and then I'm looking at, what was the other race? It had Hungary, and then the
Monza.
one, Monza. That's 10 points that Norris would be closer to Max Verstappen.
Yep.
So rather than a 52-point gap, it really could be a 42-point gap, and all McLaren had to do was switch them around. I think you could make a case,
and also in Monza,
you could make a case that if Piastri was a team player and he wasn't going for the win, Norris would have won that race.
Oh, aye, yep.
Because when he overtook Norris at the beginning, he did kind of force Norris off the track, and I think that they could have played that out to give Norris the win and keep Charles behind.
Absolutely, but
did that call come too late for McLaren?
I just think McLaren underestimated the one-stop in Monza, but in terms of
all right, okay, let's say the one-stop didn't work. Would they switch positions? If they didn't switch it for 3rd and 2nd, I don't think they'd have switched it for 1st and 2nd. Now you could argue, there's more points up for grabs if they switch it, but I would argue it's a lot easier to tell Piastri to give up a 2nd for 3rd than it is to give up 1st for 2nd.
No, I agree. I also think in Singapore, Piastri was really bad. He was consistently about half a second slower than Norris a lap. And he should have got 2nd. Look at Norris won by about 33 seconds, did he not? What's Piastri's excuse for not finishing 2nd in Singapore? Which would have massively helped because it would have got another 3 points.
Yep. Holland as well.
Yeah, he was awful.
So, there's a couple of races where you look at how easy Norris won, you kind of think, why wasn't Piastri there to help him?
Yeah.
So I think Norris definitely should be closer. But anyway, guys, that's it. What's going to happen? Let us know. Constructors, you guys have voted for McLaren. For me, I do think that the leaders are probably going to see the championship battles out. I think Max will hold on, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately, I just want it to go to the last day. And then I think in the Constructors, I would like that to go. It would just be nice if the Constructors went to the final day and it's a three-way fight. But honestly,
when
I just
was the
can't
last
see
time
it.
we had this with a championship fight where you had a guy who's sitting first? It's since Button, where the car's just not that good.
And he's getting caught.
But the problem is, see with Button...
Alonso.
2012?
Aye.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think this is more representative because Alonso never dominated. I feel like LeBron and the Red Bull at the start of the season were dominant cars. It's flipped. But I think with Norris, I think he's just dropped the ball. Honestly, I think McLaren have dropped the ball massively this season. I've seen a lot of people saying that he would be an undeserving champion, and I think if you win the title, you're not undeserving, but I think it would be lacklustre if Norris won.
Do you think Max has got more? Do you think Max has performed better?
Of course, yeah.
So you think he's getting more out of the Red Bull?
I think when the Red Bull was dominant, Max Verstappen, the numbers don't lie. He got 7 poles at the first 7 races, right? And then in terms of winning, he retired in Australia, but he won every other race, apart from Miami.
Yeah, so he won.
I think around there, McLaren were the fastest cars, so...
Since then, though, he's not won since the Spanish Grand Prix. It's not great. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, you look at the last 8 races since Red Bull won, and Norris has only won 2 of them.
Yeah,
despite probably having the fastest car.
I look at the remaining 6 races. There's a lot of sprints in there, so that'll be extra points.
Pete, I don't think. Yeah, that's 8 points. People are not really factoring that in.
Aye, and obviously, if the McLaren's fastest, which I expect it to be, and the Red Bull's third or fourth, that's when you're going to begin to pull more points out.
That is. Anyway, guys, that is it. I just hope we get a title fight in the last. And by title fight, I mean like a realistic. 24 points would be shit in my eyes.
Aye.
Because all
It's like
Max
10 or 15, yeah, because I think actually even with 15 it's still very doable.
Yeah, because then I think ideally what would be interesting would be if Max needs to finish on the podium to stop Norris to win the title if Norris wins.
Yeah.
So we'll see you, guys. That's it. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.